All right, let's have a quick look at some of the news you might have missed in this past week. Now, some of you may think there's no point in standing up for common sense and for your own values anymore. Well, I'm here to prove it wrong. One professor in the United States is now a much wealthier man thanks to sticking up to his values. Professor Nicholas Merriweather at Shawnee State University in Ohio, well, back in 2018, he got told off by his bosses for not using a transgender student's preferred pronoun. Merriweather filed a federal lawsuit saying the university violated his constitutional rights by ordering him to speak in a way that contradicts his religious beliefs. Well, this week, the university has paid Merriweather $400,000 in a settlement, and now he's never going to have to use someone else's pronouns again unless he wants to. Now, isn't this a good result? One man took the risk because, you know what, these pronouns, you can use them out of respect if that's what you want. If someone says, can you please call me he, even though they're a biological male, that's your choice. It might be a respectful thing to do. But there's 50 of them. They're making this stuff up every single day. Just have to go to that Libs of TikTok account and you'll see. I'm going to talk about that a bit later on in the show. You'll see just how crazy this is. You can't keep up with it. Treat people as you want to be treated, but don't treat yourself like a fool. Now, speaking of fools, there's two of them in this report. The reports are out that Joe Biden is planning to run again in 2024. Yep, that's right. Why would he run again? This guy can barely string a sentence together without embarrassing himself. Well, there's one pretty good reason. It's because his heir apparent is just as bad. Have a look at Kamala Harris speaking at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. It sounds more like she's speaking to Vandenberg kindergartners.
Space is exciting. It spurs our imaginations, and it forces us to ask big questions. Space, it affects us all, and it connects us all.
Space, the final frontier for Kamala Harris. I think there's a lot of space between those two ears. And her and Joe Biden are running the free world, the biggest, the most influential politicians in the free world. What have you done to yourself, America? Anyway, the 2022 midterm elections can't come soon enough. We'll see what happens there. Okay, some of the horrors still in America. Here's a terrible stat for you. FBI data has shown there was a 32% increase in murders of black people in 2020 compared with 2019. Now, you reckon that one organisation who'd be up in arms about this would be Black Lives Matter. But apparently not. Maybe they don't matter quite so much anymore. They were silent on it when Fox News Digital reached out to them. And I wonder if it's because the warnings were clear. The Manhattan Institute's Heather McDonald is right. She said the Black Lives Matter narrative about racist homicidal cops has produced virulent hostility in the streets. What do you think is going to happen? Defund the police, you have less police on the streets, and those that are prone to lawlessness, looting, rioting and murder will do what they do. It is an appalling circumstance that's happened over there, and all those behind these protests, those that funded it, the politicians who got behind it, have washed their hands of responsibility. Nothing to do with them, nothing to see here, move right along. Anyway, thank goodness there are some people fighting back. And last week, I told you how Twitter suspended the Libs of TikTok for, quote, hateful conduct before allowing them back onto the platform. Remember, this is what hateful conduct apparently is, broadcasting people's actual views that they publish themselves.
Here's a developmentally appropriate way to talk to toddlers about bodies and gender. When babies are born, parents sometimes guess their gender based on their genitals. Sometimes parents guess wrong, though. And that's okay. Everybody makes mistakes sometimes.
That was one of the easy ones because, you know, I don't want to interrupt your dinner at home. But the efforts to silence this account, which exposes this weirdness of the left, continue. A journalist by the name of Taylor Lorenz, writing for the Washington Post, published an article about the account that included the name and the work address of the person behind the Libs of TikTok. The article was then amended to remove the address, but it was published in the first place, and that's disgusting. It's a thing called doxing, and it's designed to intimidate, to unleash the fiery mob, to get people cancelled, to have them personally attacked. Now, Taylor Lorenz should know better, because just a few weeks ago, she told MSNBC about how much online harassment had affected her. Have a look.
You feel like any little piece of information that gets out on you will be used by the worst people on the internet to destroy your life.
See, it's all bad if you're sort of some lefty lady, but if you're a conservative lady running an account exposing how stupid the left are, well, you're fair game. Well, luckily, Libs of TikTok has not been intimidated into silence. Here's what the lady behind this account told Tucker Carlson.
It's been a little bit tough, but I'm not going to let this get me down.
I wrote on my blog this week that this lady was one of the bravest, most courageous people because she is fighting back against the madness of the left, and it's proof that a single person can capture and target and highlight how bad the zeitgeist is. The Libs of TikTok is an extraordinary account. I fully support them. We play their segments on this because no one has done more to expose the crazy left and what's going on in our schools than they have. We can all hopefully continue to do the same.